hurt very easily?
Say women.
Say sorry first.
இப்போல்லாம் நான் மென்னு தான் சொல்கிறேன். ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பை சஸ்டெயின் பண்ணணும்னு அதுதான் நான் பார்த்துட்டு
இருக்கேன்.
Situationship.
More than friendship, less than a committed relationship.
ஃப்ரெண்டுக்கு மேலே லவ்வருக்கு கீழே. We are seeing an increase in the rate of divorces nowadays even in India. ஒருத்தர் ஒரு ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பில் சண்டையே போடலைன்னா அது ட்ரூ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பானே நம்ம சந்தேகப்படணுங்கிறது தான் உண்மை.
பேசாமல் ஒரு சைலண்ட் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட், கோல்டு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது வாட் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங், நான் ஏதாவது தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன்னா தெர் இஸ் so much of trauma happening inside the individual. ஈவன் அவங்க தப்பு பண்ணலைன்னா கூட ஐ எம் சாரின்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்க டு கரெக்ட். லாட் ஆஃப் த டொமஸ்டிக் வயலன்ஸ் கேசஸ்லாம் இந்த மாதிரி தான் ட்ராக்ல போகும்.
Dr. Saras, Bhaskar,
PhD,
is a counselling psychologist with 30 plus years experience in
premarital, marital,
family,
adoption,
and infertility counselling.
Ms. Varsha Swamy,
A double master's holder and couples therapist.
founded Harmony Pathway in Colorado and co-founded House of Mirrors.
Apart from therapy,
Together, they also conduct workshops and therapist trainings.
Welcome Dr. Saras and Ms. Varsha.
Thank you, Dr. Priya.
For having us.
So why do modern day relationships feel so much harder than before?
They're also wanting it all from one person. I want my partner to be my therapist, my best friend, the person who does gym with me, this with me, that with me, everything.
What keeps the relationship going strong, do you think?
Absolute.
ரொமான்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பேசும்போது என்னமோ இந்த படத்தில் ஒருத்தங்களை பார்த்தாங்க, பட்டாம்பூச்சி பறந்துச்சு, கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால், இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாமே சொல்லி we are just hearing very colloquial things. Why do some couples seem to have the same fights on loop, do you think?
Somebody starts making kuti efforts. How are we going to encourage those efforts? It's called positive reinforcement. And if they make a mistake, to say it's not a big deal, next time paathuko. And the simple language makes all the difference.
The grieving process where the woman has gone through lot of suffering, silent sufferers ponadu. So forgiveness. The way I see jealousy is it's toxic, unhealthy.
Technology is playing a major role in, I think, creating relationship conflicts because it takes a huge part of our time.
Call dane illana or text dane or whatever they're doing in that moment, we can logically understand it. Ana the brain perceives the moment where they look down at their phone or take that call as abandonment.
Biggest turn off in one word. Like couple, it's throuple.
It is a committed relationship for all three.
Welcome to Femiliarise. Let's get the conversation started. And today's episode is all about the 4-letter word that moves the world, love, but not the fairy tale version. We are diving deep into love, relationships, and marriages in the modern era with all their messy, magical, confusing, and sometimes heartbreaking realities. We can fall in love with someone across the globe but struggle to hold a normal conversation in person over dinner. We want passion, stability, freedom, connection all at once. No wonder everyone's confused. To help us figure it out, I have with me 2 eminent psychologists who have spent years listening to couples, studying the science of love, and helping people navigate heartbreak, conflict, passion, and repair. Welcome, Dr. Saras and Ms. Varsha.
Thank you so much for having us.
So we are all excited to be learning about this new age relationships, and as people who are dealing with the dark side of relationships, not only the fun side, I am sure you will have a lot of insights to offer us about what we are doing, what we should be doing, where are things going wrong, and so on and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Same here.
So why do modern day relationships feel so much harder than before? Minadi kaalathilala, I don't think, just forget about our parents' age as such, because it was completely different. But even in our days, we had a love marriage and it didn't feel so difficult as it is now to navigate and make sense of. And as such, falling in love is easy, but continuing seems to be very difficult nowadays. Why is it so?
I think I'm going to bring in the social model here with women empowerment, education for women, and also the girl children growing up in a household where they have seen their parents, uncles, aunts going through the struggles of trying to survive in a marriage. I think unleashed their inner voice to speak out.
ஓகே ஸோ நம்ம வீட்டில் பார்த்ததெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஓன் லைஃப்பில் நடக்கக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுனால திஸ் சேஞ்ச் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறீங்க இஃப் ஐ கேன் டு புட் இட் இன் லைக் கொலோக்கியல் டேர்ம்ஸ்னா.
நிச்சயமா அதுவும் எஜுகேஷன் ஃபார் விமன் ஆல்சோ, எக்ஸ்போஷர், மீடியாலோடைய ப்ரெசன்ஸ் எல்லாமே. இதை தவிர வேற ஏதாவது இருக்கா வர்ஷா?
Yeah, I think I'll just add on by saying that is what the intergenerational lens is, right? When you look at South Asian families, what has been passed on is instead of love, we have started seeing sacrifice as like a wonderful thing. And I feel like if you look at just 2 generations back, we were under colonization. We were told that we are ugly, stupid, incapable, and below. And that is the generation that raised just our parents. So if you look at what survival looks like, which has been passed down even to our generation, the cycle breakers of today are recognizing that they no longer want to lead their life stuck in survival mode. So when we're moving past survival mode and moving into thriving, now the previous generations, what was easy was functionality. How can two families come together? How can we increase our wealth? Like all the systemic issues. ஆனால் இப்போ இருக்கிற situation வந்து people are wanting emotional compatibility, emotional connection. And they're also wanting it all from one person. I want my partner to be my therapist, my best friend, the person who does gym with me, this with me, that with me, everything. We have the desire, aase, and now we are moving out of survival mode, but what is missing is the skill sets to do it. We don't have practice and we don't have models from previous generations who we all saw in survival mode. So now, how do we do that? What are the skill sets we need so we can have it all?
எஸ் ட்ரூ. அண்ட் நீங்கள் சொன்னது எல்லாமே மை வாண்ட் மை பார்ட்னர் டு பி எவ்ரி திங்குங்கிறது, do you think it is because of the social media influence? People see only the good part of any relationship. அவங்க வெக்கேஷன் போனாங்க, ஒன்றா சமைச்சாங்க, ஒன்றா சாப்பிட்டாங்க, ஒன்றா வந்துட்டு they have worked out together. Different couples do different things and each couple and each relationship, marriage is going to be different. But they are not showing what is not for the lens, public eye அவங்க காமிக்கிறது இல்லை. அஃப்கோர்ஸ் நோ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் இஸ் பர்ஃபெக்ட். பட் அதெல்லாம் பார்த்து நம்மளுக்கும் நம்ம ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் அப்படி வரணும், இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஆர் வி செட்டிங் ஆர் எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன்ஸ் a little too, are they being too unrealistic?
What a great question. I feel like we are technology was not meant to give us nervous system calmness, soothing, anything like that. It was designed to let us see the glamorous side of things. So your question very aptly points to the place where what is our critical thinking to be able to take something which we are seeing, which we would want to develop, but what are other factors that are going behind the scenes that we don't see? So yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
See, what used to be the என்ன கல்யாணம் ஆன பிறகு ஹனிமூன் எங்கே போனோம் அப்படின்னு இந்த கலீக்ஸ், ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அவங்கெல்லாம் பேசிக்கும்போது எனக்கும் அது வேணும்னு இந்த கிளாமரைசிங் ஆஸ்பெக்ட் ஆஃப் ஏ ஃபேண்டசி. முதல்ல வந்து மூவியில் தான் அதெல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தோம். அதே மாதிரியே இந்த லவ்னா எப்படி இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம அதை வச்சு கற்பனை பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருந்தோம். இப்போ இந்த சோஷியல் மீடியா வந்துட்டு அவங்களோட ப்ளசன்ட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ், as you rightly said, not talk about the challenges but only the good stuff that is happening in their life. When they post it, they get attracted and they want it for themselves
also. And the words you used are exactly something I have said number of times, so I was pretty surprised because vandittu I always thought grandparents oda generation was about survival, as you said, and then enga parents the enga in-laws the all that was about sacrifice. Everything is for the children அப்படினே focused. But நம்ம இப்போ எங்க ஜெனரேஷன் லைக் இருக்கவங்க வந்து I think it's a balance of both. Yes, children are very important, sacrifice mentality irukku, but again we want to do things for ourselves too, enjoy ourselves too, and not really keep on saving for the future. But next generation portha alavukku paatha they are all a little selfish is a harsh word, but they are all making sure that they come first. and then everything else.
ஏன் தெரியுமா டாக்டர் பிரியா, கலெக்டிவிஸ்டிக் சொசைட்டியா இருந்தது நம்மளது. அதாவது மேரேஜ் வாஸ் not between two individuals, it was between two families. So how do you keep the family together ங்கும்போது தான் இந்த காம்ப்ரமைஸ், சாக்ரிஃபைஸ், அட்ஜஸ்டிங் அண்ட் அதெல்லாம் வந்தது. பட் அந்த வெஸ்டர்ன் கான்செப்டை நம்ம இமிட்டேட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்ச பிறகு இண்டிவிஜுவலிசம் செட் இன். While you talked about the self-care of your parents or us, your parents might be of my age, அந்த மாதிரி பார்க்கும்போது எனக்கு வந்து அலாங் வித் அரவணைச்சு ஃபேமிலியோட போகிறதோட செல்ஃப் கேரும் வாஸ் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். இன் ஆர்டர் ஃபார் மீ டு பி அவைலபிள் ஃபார் மை ஃபேமிலி, ஐ நீட் டு டேக் கேர் ஆஃப் மை செல்ஃப்ங்கிற அந்த இன்சைட்டு எங்கள் ஜெனரேஷனில் தான் வராருன்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். பட் அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷன் நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி பார்க்கும்போது முதல்ல நான் என்ன கவனிச்சுக்கிறேன், நான் பர்ஃபெக்டா இருக்கணும், அதே மாதிரி என் பார்ட்னரும் பர்ஃபெக்டா இருந்ததுன்னா அதுக்கப்புறமா we will have other aspects னு பார்க்குற மாதிரி நான்.
So நம்மளே we are seeing so much change happening across generations அப்படின்னு, and I think it's a lot of exposure, knowledge and everything available online nowadays, and ChatGPT acting as our therapists and advisors. So I don't know what else we are going to see, and then maybe AI relationships in future. So it's all changing at a very fast pace in the world we live in currently. So how has technology changed how we fall in love? இந்த டேட்டிங் ஆப்ஸ் எல்லாம் என்னன்னு எனக்கு தெரியாது. நான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கிறது டிண்டர் மட்டும்தான் அட்லீஸ்ட்னு. ஸோ இந்த ஸ்வைப் ரைட் ஸ்வைப் லெஃப்ட்டுங்கிறாங்க. ஸோ அகேன், do you think that dating apps have made it easier or harder to find lasting love?
What a good question. So relevant for today's society. I think in the COVID time, Kapro, the amount of people finding on dating apps, trying to figure out what their status is, all of these factors have really grown. And I would say we're so new. It's just been 4 to 5 years of us even figuring things out. Technology is designed to like, I'll just bring a little scientific side to it. It's designed to release dopamine in small amounts, right? So when you're swiping, it mimics the dopamine center of the brain, which is responsible for creating little perks and jolts of happiness. When that is something which we are enjoying, we are continuing to swipe without having the recognition that what are we actually looking for? Who are we trying to find? What are our needs? What does that compatibility look like? And the false perception of lots of choices. Munadila, like, if you look at even just something as simple as ice cream, people would be like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Yeah. You take half an hour to figure out what you want.
Yeah, menus can keep on being pages long, I'm sure.
Correct. So it's the same kind of concept where we have to use, again, that pop word of today, critical thinking, to be able to say, I understand this is going on, but while my brain is wanting dopamine, my nervous system and body, if I'm seeking, let's say, love, that 4-letter word you talked about, if I'm seeking that, I actually need something different. I need stability. I need safety. So I eventually have to learn what it means to pick somebody and build that with somebody. There are additional skill sets beyond just swiping. So I will say it's a good thing that we have exposure and apps that allow us to meet and connect. But how are we now taking that to the next level?
So அது மட்டும் superficially it can help you meet many people, give you many choices, but then what you do with the choice is not as simple as just using the app. After that, it is knowing what you want, making sense of what your needs are, and as you said, your core values are, and then searching for that in the person whom you hope to meet அப்படின்ட்டு.
That can be exhaustive also, no?
Oh, so exhausting.
Emotionally draining and exhaustive. What if I date ஒரு ஆப்பில் பார்த்துட்டு நான் டேட்டிங் போகிறேன், கப்புள் ஆஃப் டேட்ஸுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து ஐ ஃபைண்ட் தட் வாட் அ ட்ரூ ஜர்க் ஹீ இஸ் ஆர் ஷீ இஸ், அண்ட் தென் ஐ ஹாவ் டு கம் அவுட் ஆஃப் இட், அண்ட் டைம் வேஸ்டட், எனர்ஜி வேஸ்டட்.
I know.
Yeah, it's called decision making fatigue.
Okay.
Like actually a thing that people are exhausted by, burnt out by. We call it social media breaks. Now you have dating app breaks that have also started.
Okay.
Yeah, to come back to center, because every time you expose yourself with vulnerability, with aase, with hope that you're going to meet somebody, and let's say that interaction doesn't go well, you have to grieve what you hoped it could have become, right?
Okay.
Then you have to come back and start from scratch.
Okay, so it sounds exhausting to hear for sure.
Yeah.
And I really thank God that we didn't have it in those days and didn't have to go through all this.
So the final question, is it a boon or a bane?
It's both.
Both. It's what you make of
It's
it,
what you
as
make
with
of
a
it.
lot of things, I would say.
Yeah.
So, my next question would be, how important is chemistry? Okay, ஒருத்தரை மீட் பண்ணுறோம், sparks fly, you fall in love instantly, but then what? Versus compatibility. What keeps the relationship going strong, do you think? So, first, initial and the attraction, mostly physical, you get together, chemistry plays a role. But then moving forward, for them to build on that relationship, what do you think is important?
Absolutely compatibility. Chemistry is only a gateway.
Okay.
Entrance ticket.
Okay.
ஓகே அதுக்கப்புறம் ஃபிசிக்ஸு பயாலஜிலாம் நீங்கள் போட்டுக்கோங்க. பட் வென் இட் கம்ஸ் டு லாங் லாஸ்டிங் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்புங்கும் போது த கம்பேட்டபிலிட்டி ஹேஸ் டு கம் இன். அதர்வைஸ் அகெயின் யூ சக்கர் கோ பேக் டு த சைக்கிள்.
Start again, starting with the sparks from someone else and then keep on making your way forward.
So how much you want to be compatible? How far one can stretch themselves for the sake of this chemistry is an individual's decision. Am I correct?
Very correct. I think all I'll add is the actual skill sets involved in compatibility is, again, like I was saying earlier, figuring out what your core values are, aligning your nervous systems, and learning what it means to repair in conflict. That is the true work of compatibility, because that's what builds emotional intimacy. And the other part, the functionality part, when you have both of those together, that is what is considered compatibility today.
ஸோ நீங்கள் வந்து ஒன்று சொன்னீங்க, ரிப்பேர் இன் கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட்னு. ஸோ அதுதான் ரொம்ப முக்கியம் எல்லாரும் கற்றுக்கணுன்னு. பிகாஸ் வேர் தெர் இஸ் லவ், கான்ஃப்ளிக்ஸ் வில் அரைஸ் இன் எனி ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்புங்கிறது யூனிவர்சல் ரூல். ஒருத்தர் வந்து ஒரு ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பில் சண்டையே போடலைன்னா அது ட்ரூ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பானே நம்ம சந்தேகப்படணுங்கிறது தான் உண்மை. பட் அந்த கான்ஃப்ளிக்ஸ்ன்னு வரும்போது அதை நம்ம எப்படி ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறோங்கிறது தான் வில் பி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் இன் தட் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் ப்ரோக்ரெஸிங் அண்ட் மூவிங் ஃபார்வர்ட் அண்ட் பில்டிங் ட்ரஸ்ட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ அ வெரி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் ஃபேக்டர் இன் தட். வுட் யூ சே?
Absolutely. Love and trust are the basic foundation that keeps the chemistry alive, and the compatibility is the one that gets the love and trust stronger. You use the word chemistry, Leah, Dr. Priya. When you mention about chemistry, what I'm thinking about is when I am getting into a relationship and I'm getting attracted, there are certain traits that I bring along with me. It could be a bouquet or a brickbat. It could be either. அந்த மைண்ட் செட்டோட நான் இந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்புக்குள்ள போகும்போது இங்கே தான் அட்டாச்மெண்ட் கம்ஸ் இன். தட் இஸ் வாட் டைப் ஆஃப் அட்டாச்மெண்ட் ஹவ் ஐ ஹேட் வைல் க்ரோயிங் அப் தட் ஐ எம் சீக்கிங் ஆர் நாட் வாண்டிங் நவ். So that is an area that I think Varsha will be able to explain much more if you want to.
Yes, so that is what our previous relationship patterns were, or நம்ம அப்பா அம்மா வந்து எப்படி இருந்தது ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்னு நம்ம பார்த்து அந்த வீட்டில் வளர்ந்துருக்கோமோ, sometimes we tend to repeat that same unhealthy patterns ன்னு சொல்கிறீங்க. இல்லை sometimes they move away and say அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கவே கூடாது, ஆப்போசிட்டாக நம்ம வேணும்னு நினைப்பாங்களா?
ரெண்டு விதமாகவும் see in Dr. Priya, ஒன்று how the parents interact with each other, what type of parenting, love and nurturing and bonding was given to the child, where that personality evolves for the child. So as a grown-up adult, what is the takeaway that this individual is having when he or she is getting ready for a relationship?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you've asked two different things. One is attachment, for which I have something I want to share. The other one is repair and conflict. So which one should
One after the other.
So I think நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி conflict is inevitable. That part you have nailed. The idea is not conflict nadukuma. It is how are we engaging in conflict. That is the latest research in couples therapy. There's a research institute called the Gottman Institute, where they do ஒரு 3-4 decades வரைக்கும் they have done research on relationships. என்ன கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்கன்னா, ஒரு 4 விஷயம் வந்து அது ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் கான்ஃப்ளிக்டில் இருந்ததுன்னா அவுட் ஆஃப் ப்ரொப்போர்ஷன், அதாவது 5:1 ratio. 5 times if this in the madri negative 4 horsemen, they're called horsemen of the apocalypse, if those are there and only one time something nice, appreciation and the madri irundaduna, it can predict divorce up to 97%.
Wow. ஓகே.
Yeah. So as therapists, we look out for those and we teach the skill sets of how to engage in conflict under horsemen illama. We'll slow the conversations down and we teach them how to avoid those horsemen. ஏன்னா நம்மளோட South Indian culture-ல behind one thing which is common is we try to put on an act. எல்லாருக்கும் முன்னாடி we have to be pleasant and loving and பின்னாடி the door is closed na என்ன மாதிரி சண்டை என்ன மாதிரி வார்த்தை வருது we are able to see, right? So when those sunders start coming out in the privacy of a safe space, we have to start teaching them where மாதிரி you can go about
resolving your differences. Okay, that's nice. And in the 4 horsemen இது வரக்கூடாதுங்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியுமா?
The 4 horsemen. Yeah. So the 4 horsemen are contempt, criticism, defensiveness and stonewalling.
இது 4 இல்லாம எப்படிதான் சண்டை போடுறது? அதுக்கப்புறம் சண்டை பேர் அது பேர் சண்டையே கிடையாது அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யூ வாண்ட் டு லாஷ் அவுட் தானே. அதுதான் நீ பண்றது தப்பு, ஒரு மாதிரி நம்ம பண்றது. ஐ திங்க் இது இல்லாம ஒரு கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் எடுத்துட்டு போறது எப்படின்னு ஐ வுட் ஆல்சோ லவ் டு லேர்ன் such நினைப்பேன். such you can just shortly explain about. Yeah.
So contempt வந்து ஒரு கேரக்டர் எடுத்துட்டு ஒரு பார்ட்னரோட கேரக்டர் எடுத்துட்டு அதை பற்றி தப்பா இழிவா
assassination of that particular aspect
personalize பண்ணு.
So அது பண்ணாம
height, weight, complexion, background you're coming from அதெல்லாமே அந்த இழிவுபடுத்துற மாதிரி பேசும்போது இது நிச்சயமா இந்த மேரேஜ்
ரொம்ப இன்சல்ட்டிங்
ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்போ இது வந்து செட்டே ஆக போறது இல்லைங்கிற மாதிரி தான் வந்து.
ஆமா. And similarly criticism, அவங்களோட behavior பற்றி அது தப்பு அது that's not that you're being stupid is the contempt. Criticism will be இது கூட பண்ண தெரியாதா?
Okay.
Right? That kind of micromanaging also, that kind of language. So the antidotes for this வந்து we call it soft startup. அதாவது உங்களோட கஷ்டம் கண்டிப்பா there will be some நியாயம் behind it. So I statements followed by என்ன emotion இருக்கு அந்த டைம்ல. I feel neglected, I feel abandoned, I feel sad, angry, I feel rejected when this is going on. And how can you state your need in that moment? Right? Nariya per vandu you focus on the other person, the solution completely gets lost. And the time la edunala I am struggling right now when I see my partner acting this way. If you focus on nidanda, nothing is going to come of that. In fact, the opposite is going to happen. And எப்போவுமே இந்த contempt and criticism இருக்கும்போது the natural reaction you are inviting is defensiveness. நான் அப்படி கிடையாது, நான் அப்படி பண்ணல, right? So then this person gets louder, this person gets louder, அந்த மாதிரி escalation ஆகும், right? So last வந்து stonewalling வந்து it is the idea that I'm going to punish you by moving away from you. So silent treatment, or it's a threat to the relationship, it's a threat to the nervous system. அவங்க போனாங்க but I don't know, are they going to come back, are we going to work this out, வந்து they have no clue. So stonewalling is a way of punishing and it can last for couple of days up to even couple of weeks and even longer.
இந்த இடத்துல இந்த கப்பிள்ஸ் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்ல என்ன ஆயிடும்னா இந்த ஸ்டோன் வாலிங் இஸ் த சைலன்ஸ் இஸ் த வர்ஸ்ட் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் சொல்றோம்ல. கத்திட்டாலாவது 4 அடி சாத்தினாலாவது வேற விதம். பட் பேசாம ஒரு சைலண்ட் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட், கோல்டு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது வாட் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங், நான் ஏதாவது தப்பு பண்ணிட்டானா, தெர் இஸ் சோ மச் ஆஃப் ட்ராமா ஹேப்பனிங் இன்சைட் த இண்டிவிஜுவல். ஈவன் அவங்க தப்பு பண்ணலன்னா கூட ஐ எம் சாரின்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்க டு கரெக்ட். லாட் ஆஃப் த டொமஸ்டிக் வயலன்ஸ் கேசஸ்லாம் இந்த மாதிரி தான் ட்ராக்ல போகும். பிகாஸ் ஸ்டோன் வால் பண்ணும்போது
என்ன பண்ணுறது தெரியாது. அப்போ நம்ம மைண்டுக்குள்ளே அதை யோசனை பண்ணி கடைசியில் நம்ம தான் தப்பு பண்ணியிருப்போமோ, அப்போ நம்ம தான் சாரி கேட்டால் என்ன, காம்ப்ரமைஸ் பண்ணால் என்ன அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி போயிடும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
அதில் வந்து ரைட் இஸ் மைட்டுங்கிற அந்த அதர் பார்ட்னருக்கு வந்துருச்சுன்னாக்க தென் டாமினேஷன்,
அவ்வளோதான். அதே மாதிரி they will start repeating the same pattern, they are getting their way அப்படின்ட்டுன்னு.
ஸோ இந்த ஸ்கில் செட் அவங்க சொன்னாங்கல்ல, அந்த இது வந்து இட் இஸ் அ ப்ராசஸ். இட் டசன்ட் ஹேப்பன் வித் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ரைட்டிங் ஆர் டயலாக் கொடுத்து படிக்கிறதுன்னு கிடையாது. They need to understand what are the changes that happens in their body. She will talk about the nervous system. So help them kind of go through that both inside and out, and then to be able to regulate those physiological factors and then take charge of the emotional factors to come up with the behavioral pattern change.
ரொமான்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பேசும்போது என்னமோ இந்த படத்தில் ஒருத்தங்களை பார்த்தாங்க, பட்டாம்பூச்சி பறந்துச்சு, கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால், இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாமே சொல்லி we are just hearing very colloquial things. But now that there is actually a science behind it is something which is amazing. And actually, what is the latest research? And I think that is your specialty as such, romance and neurobiology. What is the connection?
Lovely question. I'll focus first on something that's called attachment. I think we all need to understand modella what is attachment and how does it impact nammaloda adult relationships. When you look at it, starts all the way from the time that you're born. When you're growing up, you are basically having a lot of physical, emotional, social, financial needs that nammaloda parents da nama paathukranga, right? Indiala lot of our needs are usually physical in nature. Nammaloda emotional needs வந்து because of that survival intergenerational wounds and survival mode, how do we take care of emotional needs becomes inconsistent and sometimes neglectful. When that neglect happens, a child that's growing up avangaloda needs வந்து சரியா பாத்துக்கலனா they develop what's called insecurity. And also many families, they will develop security. Adavadhu ungaloda needs, I understand it, I want to offer safety, reassurance. When they offer that safety and reassurance, we learn how to soothe our nervous systems from a young age into adulthood. But adu pannalana, we grow up through developmental stages of our life. Adavadhu what we learn at 4, 10, 15, 20, we continue to grow, but our emotional development, our ability to, as she said, regulate yourself, which is nothing but the tools that you need to calm your nervous system down and not feel threat, right? The recent research in couples therapy has shown that your romantic partner serves as proxy. Adavadhu they become the placeholder for every romantic partnership adukku munnadi, all the way down to the primary caregivers. That is the reason we keep repeating patterns without realizing it, right? If I did not get my emotional needs met or physical needs met, I will have adapted in some way, right? I learned that lashing is normal when I get upset. Illana distracting myself is so as a child you might go hide, distract yourself, read a book. Ana as an adult, when we don't know what else to do, and that is what we've been practicing in survival, that is why we go and cheat, that is why we drink, that is why we become workaholics, right? Because adoda kashtam, our nervous system doesn't know the difference between a lion attacking us and our partner shouting at us. Rendo, our nervous system responds the same as a threat. So couples have to understand what is happening ullakulla on a nervous system level, and the skills what they have to learn is how to start regulating, how to start calming the nervous system down, so that orther they can begin understanding each other and solving the conflict. When we are in threat, we do not have the ability to solve anything. Prefrontal cortex, this is the front part of the brain. It is responsible for thinking, processing, nammaloda memories kondu varudhu, connecting the emotion part of the brain and actually being able to make decisions, problem solving, adu ellame we need this part of the brain. When we get dysregulated, right, when our nervous system is in threat, we cannot access this part of the brain. So nariya per அந்த டைமில் எனக்கு எதுவுமே என்ன நடக்கிறது கூட ஐ குட் நாட் ஈவன் ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட். ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வாட் இஸ் கோயிங் ஆன். நான் ஏன் அப்படி பேசினேன்? இட் இஸ் பிகாஸ் யுவர் நர்வஸ் சிஸ்டம் இஸ் ரெஸ்பாண்டிங் டு த்ரெட். When you start learning the patterns of regulation, the couple start being able to bring their critical thinking, this brain back on. நிறைய பேர் they'll ask the question, சும்மா ப்ரீட் பண்ணானா எல்லாம் சரியாகுமா? That's the question they ask.
Yeah, right? How is it going to solve my problems?
It's not. It's step 1. Actually, step 1 is awareness. If I don't realize that my nervous system or my partner's nervous system is dysregulated, it's in threat mode, how will I even start the process of regulating? So step 1 is awareness.
When we are இந்த மூச்சு பயிற்சிக்கும் நான் காம் ஆகிறது என்னோடய ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பை பெட்டர் ஆகிறதுக்கும் என்ன சம்மந்தம்னு கேட்குறாங்க. ஆக்சுவலாக நிறைய கனெக்ஷன் இருக்குது. வி ப்ரீத் ஆக்சிஜன் இன் அண்ட் தென் ரிலீஸ் கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு. பட் உனக்கு கோபமாக இருக்கும்போது ஒழுங்காக மூச்சு சீரான மூச்சு வருதா? இல்லை. இர்ரெகுலர் ப்ரீதிங், ஃபாஸ்ட் ப்ரீதிங் பண்ணும்போது ஆக்சிஜன் குறைச்சி தான் உள்ளே போகிறது, கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடை ரொம்ப நேரம் உள்ளே வச்சுக்கிற. அப்போ என்ன ஆகிடுறது, அந்த எமோஷ்னல் பிரெயின் விச் இஸ் அமெக்டிலா ஹிப்போகாம்பஸோடைய துடிப்பு ஜாஸ்தி ஆகும்போது செரிபிரல் கார்டெக்ஸ் அது இன்னேன்னு ஆகிடுறது. ஸோ அவுட்பர்ஸ்ட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் அட் தட் டைம் டியூ டு எக்ஸஸ் ரிட்டென்ஷன் ஆஃப் கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு. ஸோ டேக் அ டீப் பிரெத்துன்றாங்க, கவுண்ட் 1 to 10ன்றாங்க. அதுக்கெல்லாம் காரணம் இருக்குது.
அதான் இஸ் யூஷுவலி அதுதான் அந்த ப்ரீத் இன் ப்ரீத் அவுட் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிற மாதிரி தான். ஆர் ஈவன் கவுண்டிங் 1 to 5 and then opening your mouth and saying something so that it is not something hurtful. டெஃபினட்டாக வரது கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகிறதுக்கு நிறைய வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குது when we give that little time.
ஸோ அந்த கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு ரிட்டென்ஷன் காக்னிட்டிவ் டிஸ்டார்ஷன்ஸை உண்டாக்குறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்குது. அதுதான் ஐ வாண்டட் டு ஆட்.
ஸோ ஸ்டெப் 1 நம்ம we need to realize what is going on. அதாவது அந்த awareness இருக்கணும். And it takes practice to become aware. Like ஒரு half an hour அப்புறம் தான் I was dysregulated, I was triggered, right? And the Vartala we have started hearing what those words are. So triggered, dysregulated, nervous system, threat, அது எல்லாமே it means the same thing. Correct. So only then step 2 is learning the steps involved in grounding yourself or regulating yourself. அதாவது how can I come out of this nervous system dysregulation. மூணாவது, once this part of the brain is reactivated, அப்பதான் அந்த problem solving skills அப்பதான் வரும். நிறைய பேர் they jump straight to step 3 while they are triggered and no resolution happens.
Okay. So all this is possible, you're saying, while people are having the fight.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is the birthplace. நிறைய பேர் they'll think couples therapy வீட்டில் fight பண்ணிட்டு they'll come and say, ma'am, she said this, he said this, இல்லை, அங்கேயே we have to have the fight, the conflict, and I will immediately intervene by slowing everything down. And they will face each other. I am only the facilitator of change.
Okay.
Right? A lot of people think it's only talking to the therapist. The newer models have couples face each other. Because that அங்கதானே சண்டை இருக்கு ரெண்டு பேருக்குள்ள, என்கிட்ட எதுவுமே கிடையாது, right? So how can you teach the couple to slow it down and start practicing these skill sets in real time? And இன்னொரு விஷயம் எடுத்த உடனே we call it attachment injuries. ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் எஸ்பெஷலி நம்மளோட இந்தியாவில் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் ஸோ மச் ஸ்டிக்மா, நான் ஏன் தெரபிஸ்ட் போகணும், நான் ஏன் ஹெல்ப் வாங்கணும், crisis ஸ்டேஜில் தான் they come for help. Right? When the divorce is about to end, when when the marriage is about to end, or whatever stage they have come, maybe cheating has already happened, or they have 2 children, or whatever it might be going on. On the stage, after 5-10 years of problems, they'll come. Those problems are called attachment ruptures, attachment injuries. அவங்களோட needs they are just fighting on the top. ஆனால் adila, what is the real need that is being completely missed? Because if you don't know how to know your own need, அதை எப்படி வெளியில சொல்ல முடியும்?
How will your partner know? You have to identify first.
Correct. And once the couples who really thrive, they learn the art of understanding each other's nervous systems and what patterns need to happen, what skill sets need to happen to create that repair in conflicts. Conflict வரும். How quickly can you repair makes the difference between healthy couple and unhealthy couple.
Okay, that's very nice because as you said, நம்ம ஊரில் counseling போங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாலே, yes, times are changing, but it still remains a huge stigma. நான் ஏன் போனோம், இதெல்லாம் எங்களுக்கு தெரியாததா? அண்ட் மேம், நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி நானே எவ்வளோ பேருக்கு அட்வைஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கேன், கவுன்சிலிங் கொடுத்துருக்கேன், எனக்கே இன்னொருத்தர் அட்வைஸ் கொடுக்க போகிறாங்களா? we can resolve it all. So it is seen as somehow a failure. You are a failure if you have to go for counseling. அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி mindset has to change so that there are so many things which are happening and we are looking at it through the lens of science and the latest research. And there are ways that and skill sets that you are teaching them to resolve their conflicts in a healthy manner. and not in unhealthy manners. And all the time separation இருந்தால் நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் நம்ம யாரோடையாவது நெக்ஸ்ட் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் போகும்போதும் சண்டை வரதா செய்யும், அகெயின் செப்பரேஷன் வரதா செய்யும். தெர் இஸ் நோ எண்ட் டு இட். ஸோ யூ ஹாவ் டு லேர்ன் டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒர்க் ஆன் யோர் செல்ஃப் ஸோ தட் யூ கேன் ஹாவ் அ ஹெல்த்தி ரிலேஷன்ஷிப். அண்ட் தட்ஸ் வை ஐ திங்க் ப்ரொஃபஷனல்ஸ் லைக் யூ வுட் பி ஹியூஜ்லி ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல் இன் திஸ் ரிகார்டுன்னு.
Yeah, thank you.
So my next question is, infidelity is a serious issue in any relationship for sure, whether it's on either partner side. And physical infidelity-ங்கிறது நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியுது, cheating on your partner. But again, something called as emotional infidelity, and that is also seeming to be on the rise. Why do you think this is so? And how do we really build trust in a relationship, which is definitely one of the core things which is going to, or the foundation for a strong and long-term relationship?
when we talk about building trust, நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி கெமிஸ்ட்ரி ஃபிசிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்தால் கூட அந்த ட்ரஸ்ட் பில்டிங்னு வரும்போது எமோஷ்னல் கனெக்டட்னஸ் பிட்வீன் த பார்ட்னர்ஸ் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். The way I categorize emotional connectivity is physical intimacy and sexual intimacy. Now, bonding and nurturing is also emotional connectivity. When that bonding and nurturing, which she talked about the four horsemen, when that is not being used, the bonding and nurturing is not happening, the trust is broken. So, emotional infidelity can spring up, especially with friends, with colleagues. When somebody is going to ask you with empathy, ஏமா இன்னைக்கு டல்லா இருக்கனாலே ஏன்பா ஒரு மாதிரி சோகமா இருக்கு அப்படின்னு கேட்டாலே we
So it is not being actually physically intimate with someone, but emotionally we become attached to someone else, texting them, calling them, sharing our secrets, and sometimes that can cross over a certain line, one the flirtation. So that is what is called as emotional infidelity then?
Yes. So when emotional vulnerability, nammaloda sharing, what is going on, intimacy is into me, you see.
Okay.
That's what intimacy is.
Okay.
So when you're looking at emotional intimacy, I want to know about your story. I want you to know about me. Enoda aase, enoda kashtam, enoda fears and hopes and dreams, ellame I want you to know about that. We say that is protected by the couple bubble. What really makes the difference, or what is the betrayal factor? And the couple bubble, it does not mean that velila you should not speak about things to anybody. When you look at what is infidelity, it is a betrayal or a movement outside of that couple bubble with categorization of secrecy. Right? There's no concept of there's a very big difference between secrecy and privacy. Right? When I have active disconnection within my couple bubble and I seek it outside, whether it's physical, we call it physical infidelity and cheating. If it's emotional, that I'm seeking it outside but disconnecting from inside, it is emotional infidelity. That's how we can understand
Categorize it.
Categorize
Yes, that's
it.
very nice. இந்த intimacy நீங்க சொல்லும்போது nowadays we see physical intimacy also, because we see a lot of fertility couples வரும்போது sexual dysfunction is at a all-time high. I don't think even people want to have sex anymore. They are all entertained elsewhere, or online, or able to get their physical pleasure through other means. I don't know what's happening, but there's a shocking lack of interest in sex as a whole. But beyond that, emotional intimacyயும் இப்போல்லாம் இருக்கிறதே கிடையாது. And that is a common complaint a lot of wives have against their husbands. நீங்கள் இந்த ஸ்டோன் வாலிங் சொல்லும் போது அதுதான் செவத்துக்கிட்ட பேசுகிற மாதிரி இருக்குங்கிறாங்கல்ல, அதே மாதிரி தான் வர wives seem to complain about their husbands. எப்போ பாரு ஃபோனில் இருக்காரு, டிவியில் இருக்காரு, என்ன ஏது நடக்குது கேட்குறது இல்லை, பேசுகிறது இல்லைன்ட்டுன்னு. So do you get a lot of these complaints of emotional intimacy not being there and those needs not being met in that relationship in a marriage?
I think I can add some crucial information about this. When two types of couples used to come to me for therapy, couples therapy. The first one is the woman initiates, the wife or the girl, she initiates, she brings her husband, drags her husband or partner into this, saying that, as you rightly said just now, எப்போ பாரு ஆஃபீஸ் வேலை இல்லாட்டா அவங்க அம்மா அவங்க அக்கா அவங்க அக்கா பிள்ளை அந்த மாதிரி தான் போயிட்டுருக்காரு ஒழிய ஹீ இஸ் நாட் கிவிங் டைம் ஃபார் மீ ஆர் மை சில்ட்ரன். ஸோ த எமோஷ்னல் அவைலபிலிட்டியே இருக்க மாட்டேங்கிறது. ஃபிசிக்கலாகவும் ஹீ இஸ் நாட் பீங் அவைலபிள் ஃபார் மீ அப்படின்ற கம்ப்ளைண்ட்டில் தான் இவங்க வருவாங்க. Where I look at it as the inability for the partner to manage the different roles that he dons on. Because just because you're a lover or a partner or a husband doesn't mean you need to shirk the role of a son and brother and things like that. So the inability to manage the roles. So if that is the case, then I work with them on that. Then I have another set of couples who have been married for 25, 30, 35 years. It's always the man who calls for therapy. Appointment. And the woman says, no, I waited all these years. Now I have made my own life. பஜன் போகிறது, கிளப்புக்கு போகிறது, கார்ட்ஸ் விளையாடுறது, கிட்டி பார்ட்டி வச்சுக்கிறது. I'm engaging myself. And the husband says, இந்த குடும்பத்துக்காக உழைச்சு நான் அதுக்காக தான் நான் சேர்த்து வச்சு இப்போ பிள்ளைங்கள்லாம் நல்லா செட்டில் ஆயிட்டாங்க. இப்போ I want companionship. My wife is not there for me. ஹாட் பேக்கில் சாப்பாடு வச்சுட்டு அவள் பாட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்கா அப்படின்னு. So I get two types of...
That's interesting for sure as such.
So I find women, at least those days, even now, they can find ways to keep themselves occupied, whereas the man kind of solely depends on the partner, but he doesn't think that he needs to give in to get something. So it's a reciprocal relationship ங்கிறது புரியறதுக்கு நாள் ஆகுது,
டைம் ஆகுது. So they are always used to giving. Women used to keep giving, and the man used to keep taking. And now that the tables have changed, after a certain point, and we all get to that age where, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to look after myself, my life, my rules. And then they don't like it that much, I guess.
It's the husband who comes for therapy.
Okay, that's very interesting for sure.
Is there hope for both? Yes, it is. As I said, how I work with role management. With this person, as she talks about, we talk about the grieving process where the woman has gone through a lot of suffering, silent sufferers. So forgiveness. And he needs to put overtime to build that love and trust back with her. So we work on it.
Yes, so there is hope. Okay. So I came across a new term, technoference அப்படின்ட்டுன்னு. அவங்க வீட்டு சைடு எப்போ பாரு அவங்க அம்மாவுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாங்க, சிஸ்டர்ஸ், பிரதர்ஸ் அண்ட் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ரிலேஷன்ஸ் ஆன் தேர் சைட் ஆஃப் த ஃபேமிலின்ட்டுன்னு. அதெல்லாம் தான் இன்டர்ஃபரன்ஸாக இருந்தது. இப்போ ஒரு பெரிய கூடவே நம்ம வச்சிட்ருக்கோம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி டெக்னாலஜி இஸ் பிளேயிங் அ மேஜர் ரோல் இன், ஐ திங்க், creating relationship conflicts because it takes a huge part of our time. ஏன்னா இந்த டைம் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னாங்கனாலே நான் எல்லாரும் அதை தான் சொல்வேன். அப்படியா, சரி ஃபோனை ஃபஸ்ட்டு எடுத்து பாருங்கள், ஸ்க்ரீன் டைம் என்னன்னு பாருங்கள், அதுக்கப்புறம் எனக்கு டைம் இல்லை அந்த அரை மணி நேரம் ஃபார் எக்ஸசைஸ்ன்னு சொல்லுங்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. do you think it's really eating away at not even in the relationship with your partner, into our interactions with our children, everything it seems to be cutting into it as such. So is this a huge problem which you are seeing in the relationship issues you face?
Unfortunately, huge. Technology as a field was developed not for humanity, it was developed for consumerism and capitalism. So it does not have concepts like human ethics, human morality, human nervous system, right? It's not paying attention to that. So நம்ம when we are talking and connecting and the intimacy into me you see வரும்போது we are connecting with somebody and feeling very present with them. அந்த டைமில் if they take their phone, answer a call, நிறைய பேர் it is common nature today to say, even if I'm connecting with you, phone வந்துருச்சுன்னா நீ புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், right? So the connection it's called micro disconnections. அது when it adds up again and again and again, நம்மளோட brain even though logically I understand that, okay, ஒரு call தானே இல்லைனா ஒரு text தானே or whatever they're doing in that moment, we can logically understand it. ஆனால் the brain perceives the moment where they look down at their phone or take that call as abandonment. So on the micro abandonments, micro disconnection, it's never just overwati. It has to happen over a period of time. And that abandonment starts leading to resentment. And the கோவம் அங்கேருந்து வரும். Anyway, you don't care. Then they'll come back. They may not even come back. நிறைய பேர் வந்து they'll leave and then they'll take part. And then if somebody says, well, I was talking about something with you, right? Immediately that defensiveness will come in. நான் வந்து I had a work call, ஏன் புரிஞ்சிக்கல, right? Or understanding of what that disconnection is really missing. So what we suggest when we work with couples, individuals, anybody, it's called techno boundaries. Rules around technology, especially during moments of connection. It cannot always be now when the email, phone, work related phone
work
calls,
is always with
work
you.
from home kapro, we all have our phones with us all the time. Silavati, especially if we are in fields like as a doctor, right? You will suddenly get a call, right?
24/7 on
24/7
in
on.
obstetrics. Yeah.
Ama. So சில பேர் வந்து it is not possible to fully disconnect. So what எந்த இடத்துல we can build in techno boundaries for us is the new thing we are using to teach people how to not have as many micro
disconnections. That's very nice. I always say nowadays ஒருத்தங்களோட பேசுகிறோம், ஒரு கனெக்ஷன் இருக்குன்னா இட்ஸ் பை ஐ கான்டாக்ட், ரைட்? நவ் இட்ஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் ஃபோன் கான்டாக்ட். இப்படி பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கேன், ஆனால் நான் என் ஃபோனை பார்த்துட்ருக்கேன்னா தட் அது எவ்வளோ ஒரு ரூட் ஒரு டிஸ்ரெஸ்பெக்ட்ஃபுல் பிஹேவியர்னு தெரியறது இல்லை.
மாடியில் இருக்கிற ஹஸ்பண்டை சாப்பிட கூப்பிட்றனாலே வாட்ஸ்அப்பில் மெசேஜ் அனுப்புகிறோம், ஏ டின்னர் இஸ் ரெடி கம் டவுன்,
அந்த அளவுக்கு. பட் நேரில் பேசும்போது மட்டும் ஃபோனை பார்க்கக்கூடாதுன்ட்டுன்னு தட் ஷுட் பி அ ரூல் அண்ட் தட் இஸ் ஒன் டெக்னோ பவுண்ட்ரி எவ்ரி ஒன் ஷுட் ஃபாலோ. ஈவன் பேஷண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட, ஃபார் example, there are a lot of doctors who have to keep typing their like notes or the prescription illa. I always make sure I will look at the patient, talk to them, finish answering all their queries. I have an assistant who types the prescription. Even if not, avanga vella ponadukku aprom I'll take 2 minutes to type up the prescription and go. Avanga pesite irukanga, I'm just looking at my screen and typing. That connect is not there. Basic human connection, someone is listening to you, உங்களை ரெஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணி பார்க்குறாங்கங்கிறது. வெளிநாட்டில் I think they have more of these rules around like no phones ringing at dinner is going to be like something akin to a crime. So again it's like a social crime, so put it on silent and certain unspoken rules are there. இந்தியாவில் இல்லை, நம்ம பேசிக்கிட்டே இருப்போம், ரவுண்ட்ஸ்க்கு போவோம், அப்புறம் இப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம முன்னாடியே லவுடாக ஃபோனில் பேசுவாங்க ஃப்ளைட்டில். தோஸ் பவுண்ட்ரிஸ் ஆர் ரூல்ஸ் do not, they are non-existent in our country, and I think we should definitely learn a little bit to create these sort of certain social etiquette rules about using technology in public and in private.
Definitely இவங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அந்த it can build up the micro resentment over a period of time. அப்படியே பாட்டில் போயிட்டு one day ப்ரெஷர் குக்கர்.
ஆமாம் அப்பப்போ சொல்லிட்டா பரவாயில்ல, அது நம்மளுக்கு எப்போவுமே உள்ளே வச்சு அது நம்ம அந்த பொட்டு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, சைலண்ட்லி ரெக்கார்டிங், தட் இஸ் சைலண்ட்லி ரெக்கார்டிங் வாட் எவர் யூர் டூயிங் ஆர் சேயிங் அண்ட் வில் பி brought up to light only 10 years later. So we seem to keep on recording. Somehow we don't want to really make an issue-ன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஆனால் அந்த ரிசென்ட்மெண்ட் இருந்து ஒரு நாள் நீங்கள் சொல்கிற மாதிரி பர்ஸ்ட் அவுட் ஆகும். எதுக்காக பர்ஸ்ட் அவுட் ஆகுது, அந்த சுச்சுவேஷன் அப்ரோப்ரியேட்டாக கூட இருந்திருக்காது, பட் பர்ஸ்ட் அவுட் ஆகும். அண்ட் தட் சம்திங் we have all seen quite a lot.
இன்ஃபேக்ட் பவுண்ட்ரிக்கு வந்து நம்மளோட கல்ச்சரில் அர்த்தமே புரியவும் மாட்டேங்கிறது, தெரியவும் மாட்டேங்கிறது. they think why should a couple have boundaries அப்படின்றாங்க.
அதான் என்ன அப்போ வந்து எங்களுக்குள்ள அது ஒரு என்ன
இன்டிமெசி, அவங்கள பொறுத்த மட்டும் பவுண்டரி இல்லைன்னா இன்டிமெசி என்ன சொல்லுது,
குழந்தைங்களுக்கு என்ன பவுண்ட்ரிஸ், பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு என்ன பவுண்ட்ரிஸ். ஸோ வெரி க்ளோஸ் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்க்கு வச்சா we are somehow artificially drawing a line-ன்ட்டுன்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. பட் when times are changing, that's why I will always tell my patients, you have to first unlearn certain things to learn new things. Just because it's been done a certain way over years and decades, that does not make it right for today's times.
You know what, Dr. Priya, my grandmother used to say, ஈருடல் ஓர் உயிர்லாம் சும்மா கதை, அவனுக்கு பசிச்சதுன்னா நீ சாப்பிட்டானா அவனுக்கு வயிறு ரொம்புமா.
Okay.
So each one is an individual by themselves. So and the boundaries and the self care and the respect, அதெல்லாம் வந்து we need to understand. அந்த காலத்தை சொல்லி
which is very good. அந்த காலத்துல அப்படி யோசனை பண்றதே it's path breaking ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் சொல்வேன். Yes.
Now you can see why she's a therapist and why she's a psychologist, because that's what she grew up hearing.
So because I can see நீங்கள் உங்களோட எல்லாமே your thinking வந்து உங்கள் டைம்ஸோட you're far more forward than your times as such இல்லையா. So again that's why that willingness to keep an open mind, adapt with the times and not be stuck in certain things is very very important for growth, the growth mindset I will say for sure. ஸோ முன்னாடிலாம் டைவர்ஸுங்கிறதே இட் யூஸ் டு பி அ சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்டிக்மா, யாருமே இருக்கக்கூடாது, யூ பிரிங்கிங் பேட் நேம் டு த ஃபேமிலின்னு. நவ் ஐ திங்க் தட் இஃப் யூ அன்ஹாப்பி இட் இஸ் ஓகே அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி தட் acceptance is slowly coming, and with it we are seeing an increase in the rate of divorces nowadays even in India. ஸோ இது ஏதாவது ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் டைம் பீரியடில் ஆகுதா? தட் இஸ் ஃபியூ மந்த்ஸ் இன்ட்டு அ மேரேஜே வந்துட்டு இட் ஃபெயில்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வெளியில் வந்துடுறாங்க சம்டைம்ஸ். And sometimes on the other hand 20-25 years they've been in that relationship, and then you see divorce happening, which seems very strange sometimes. What's really happening? Is there any sort of trends you see, and what is the increase, what is the reason behind this increase in divorce rates?
See, when globalization happened, இல்லையா, அப்போ வந்து lot of diversity happened. அந்த டைமில் வந்து dating, meeting and mating all happened, and soon they got tired of each other, and so divorce was at a high rate among the 20s, 25 to 30. I'm talking about 18-20 years ago. And then the trend changed to the கல்யாணம் ஆயிட்டு குழந்தைங்கள்லாம் வர ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு இந்த ரோல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டில் ஸ்ட்ரகிள்ஸ் வரும்போதும் சேஞ்ச் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டை ஹேண்டில் பண்ண முடியாமல் இருக்கும்போதும் உண்டார பிரச்சனையில் some couples they come. The percentage is nominal. Okay. இப்போ on the rise is 20-25 years. Enough is enough. I've had it. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want to lead my life on my terms. And so that is on the high.
So many options are there which were not available before. So again, age is not a number. We can learn so many new things, do so many new things. Nala, that freedom has sort of also led to having said enough is enough. So I am not ready to put up with it anymore.
And it happens both with men and women.
Why do some couples seem to have the same fights on loop, do you think? So ஒன்றும் பெரிய பிரச்சனை இருக்காது. It may be something inconsequential, just like putting the towel, wet towel on the bedல இருக்கலாம், இல்லை however அந்த மாதிரி ரொம்ப inconsequential-ஆக இருக்கலாம், to something even like major ones. But usually the fights or major fights, disagreements seem to happen around one particular thing, and they seem to go on loop. So why does that happen?
I think I'll answer it with two parts. முதல்ல வந்து how are we communicating what our need is in that moment? நான் சொன்னல criticism and contempt வந்து if we use it in that moment, அதாவது the only response we're going to get is defensiveness. You know, we invite that person's defenses and protectors, because what do all of us want? We all want to feel safe, seen, heard and understood. That is the recipe for emotional safety. If we don't know how to talk and communicate our hurts, our hardships with emotional safety, அதாவது I still like you, but please can you take this and put it over here, those requests are usually much higher chances of listening.
Okay.
So the second point which is important to note is that when we fight, when we engage in conflict, it's a protest. It's not an attack. So when couples can learn to start shifting the conversation from who's right and who's wrong and see themselves as same team against the problem. No problem. It's not about you. You're not a bad person for putting her on the bed, right? So how can we see ourselves as the same team and start attacking the problem and problem solving together? If somebody starts making kuti efforts, how are we going to encourage those efforts? It's called positive reinforcement. And if something, they make a mistake, to say it's not a big deal, next time paathuko. And the simple language makes all the difference. Right? That's the second point.
Okay, thank you. Because yes, as you said, asking nicely is world apart from asking, being very rude about it and putting them down and treating it with contempt, because that can also happen. It may be a simple mistake. உனக்கு இவ்வளோ கூட அறிவில்லையா, இதையே திரும்ப பண்ணுற அப்படின்னா திரும்ப it has very little chances of being really acknowledged and changed அப்படின்னு சொல்வேன். Yes. So we should all be learning how what we say, when we say, what tone of voice we say, and words can hurt, they have a lot of power. So அதை ஃபஸ்ட்டு புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு எல்லாரும் we should be mindful of what comes out of our mouths, I guess.
The corporate jargonல 5 W's and 1 Hம்பாங்க. When, where, what, who, why and how.
Okay. Oh.
எப்போ எப்போ எங்கே எவ்வாறு எதற்கு ஏன் எப்படி பேச வேண்டும்.
ஓகே, அதுவே வந்து இட் இஸ் அ ஸ்கில் பை இட் செல்ஃப் டு லேர்ன். ஸோ வாட் இஸ் கப்பிள்ஸ் கவுன்சிலிங் அண்ட் ஹூ இஸ் இட் ஃபார் மெயின்லி? இஸ் இட் ஒன்லி ஃபார் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்ஸ் இன் கிரைசிஸ்? இல்லை இப்போல்லாம் nowadays when they are coming to us and they have just got recently engaged, even sometimes we are encouraging them to attend the sexual education awareness workshops, because illati after marriage they are clueless about how to, even shockingly, even though Netflix open பண்ணா உங்களுக்கு எல்லாமே இருக்கு in full HD color na kuda, they are all unaware of how to really go about it. In அதே மாதிரி தான் when it comes to navigating a new relationship, new family, adjustments, giving in, putting up with certain things, so many changes to be made. So actually, do you have any people coming to you for this counseling part of it before they are entering into the relationship itself, or soon after, or only when it is in crisis mode? Where do you think more change and positive outcome will be better, in which part of it?
Such an important question. நம்மளோட சவுத் ஏஷியன் கல்ச்சர்ஸில் ஸ்டிக்மானால we end up going for therapy only at the end in crisis mode. So we don't even understand therapy-ல what can we even do? What is the scope of work that we can do, right? So some people have started now recognizing abroad-லாம் people are coming in and saying it's a non-negotiable. I've met you, I like you, let's work this out. எடுத்த உடனே let us start therapy on a bi-weekly or a monthly basis and let us develop skill sets so that நம்மளோட couple bubble எப்படி protect பண்ணுறது, how do we learn each other's patterns, past attachment injuries, என்ன கஷ்டம் வந்துருச்சு என்னோட லைஃப்பில், because when you come in we call it baggage, right? Yeah. Everybody brings their baggage in. It's a myth to think that we should be fully self-actualized, நம்ம பர்ஃபெக்டாக வரணும் அப்போ தான் நம்ம ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பில் ஆரம்பிக்கணும் வந்து it's a myth. The main thing which makes relationships work is, are you willing to put in the effort when something goes wrong, right? Those are the relationships that make it. What stage of time are you planning to have that mindset? So that is the trend which is happening now. Nariya pair vandu they're realizing that okay, nama vandu idhe pattern continue adhu, how do we break the cycle? They're starting to come in that stage. ஆனால் நிறைய பேர் வந்து they've not gotten over the stigma. ஒரு 10 yearsக்கு அப்புறம் இல்லைனா டிவோர்ஸோட கேட்ஸ்க்கு வரும்போது தான் they will say I have an emergency, and that is where we start.
Then it's much harder for you also and for them also, I would say, right?
Yeah, I feel like we have enough research-backed science and methods and patience to go through it. ஆனால் அந்த ஸ்டேஜில் வரும்போது it is more hard work for the couple. நிறைய வாட்டி it takes more time, which means time investment, cost investment, right? So அந்த டைமில் therapy did not work வந்து it's a very easy thing to say.
Okay.
But if one person is in a place where they're able to, not one, if both people are in the place where they're saying நம்ம பண்ணலாம், இது கஷ்டம் ஆனால் எப்படியோ we'll put in the work and start from there, you start seeing something beautiful. And even the most worst ruptures வந்து how they start repairing it and building skills from that point forward, the whole relationship changes. நிறைய பேர் வந்து they've been married for 20-30 years or even 5-10 years, doesn't have to be so long. When they you see them, it's the most privileged position to be a couples therapist. ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் you do not get to see even parents or close friends. You'll only see சில aspects of what happens in a couple bubble. But as a therapist, you get invited into the bubble to facilitate change. It's such a safe place, tender place of trust, because relationship is one of the most precious things we have, right? So to go in and influence that is just
amazing. Yes.
What I have noticed, நம்ம ஊரில் கிரைசிஸ் டைம்ங்கிறது வந்து ஒன்று அவங்க லாயர்கிட்ட போயிருப்பாங்க, இல்லாட்டா போலீஸ்க்கு போயிருப்பாங்க. அந்த ஸ்டேஜில் நம்ம கிட்ட கவுன்சிலிங் வரும்போது they've already made up their mind decision, because yes. The injury is lot harder. என்ன நடுத்தரில் என்ன போலீஸ் ஸ்டேஷனில் நிற்க வச்சுட்ட, என்ன போய் கூண்டில் ஏற்றுட்ட, அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அவங்களுடைய என்ன சொல்கிறது ப்ரெஸ்டீஜ், அவங்களோட ப்ரைடு எல்லாத்தையுமே அழிச்சா மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது, வெதர் இட் இஸ் அ மேன் ஆர் அ உமன், மேரேஜ் ஒர்க்கே ஆகாது. அந்த டைமில் வந்து லாயர் வந்து நீங்கள் கவுன்சிலிங் போங்க அப்படின்னாக்க எங்களுக்கு வந்து what do you want?
So when you start feeling unhappy, you start feeling that this is not really working, அப்போ that awareness should be there is what you're saying, that something is going wrong, it needs work, but it is worth fighting for, and so both of us should be willing to work for it. And that would be the ideal time to approach, if not even right at the beginning, but not when it has all gone beyond a certain point. நம்ம கைவிட்டு போகிற ஸ்டேஜில் போகக்கூடாது.
போலீஸ் கிட்டயோ வக்கீல் கிட்டயோ போயிட்டாங்கன்னா ஒன் ஆஃப் த பார்ட்னர்ஸ் ஒர்க்கிங் த மேரேஜ் பிக் கொஸ்டின்.
ஏன்னா ஒரு மேரேஜ் வந்து ஒரு ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் வந்து யூ ஹாவ் டு மேக் இட் ஒர்க். இட்ஸ் லைக் ஐ லைக் டு கிவ் திஸ் எக்ஸாம்பிள். மிஷன் இம்பாசிபிளில் ஏதோ ஒரு ஷிப்பில் 2 கீ இன்சர்ட் பண்ணி டேர்ன் பண்ணால் தான் த ஷிப் ஆர் வாட் எவர் வில் ஒர்க். பட் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பில் ஐ வில் டேர்ன் 1 key, the other person is not turning. If they are ready to turn the key, I am not turning, வந்து nothing is going to change.
So both have to be willing and put an equal effort. So இப்போ இந்த couples counselingனு டு demystify it, ஓகே இந்த couples counselingனு போனால் அப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு தயக்கம் இருக்கும்ல, வாட் வில் தே ஆக்சுவலி டூ, வீல் ஹாவ் டு பேர் ஆர் சோல் டு அ தேர்ட் பர்சன், நம்மளோட வேண்டாம் இதெல்லாம் யாருக்குமே சொல்லக்கூடாதுன்னு நம்ம மூடி மறைக்கிற விஷயத்த கொண்டு வர போகிறோம் ஒருத்தர் முன்னாடி. ஸோ எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு தயக்கம் ஒரு பயம் இருக்கும். ஸோ do you have any framework, ஒரு கப்பிள் வராங்க கவுன்சிலிங்கன்னா what areas do you cover? Do you have a framework for therapeutic intervention? Do you go about it? How do you go about it so that people know what to expect when they are going for such a counseling session?
Absolutely. See, the biopsychosocial models சொன்னேன் பார்த்தீங்களா, அந்த மாதிரி when couples come to me, first thing I do is if they have had a recent blood work done. ஏன்னா இது ஹீமோக்ளோபின் கவுண்ட் லோவாக இருந்தாலும் வண்டிக்கு பெட்ரோல் போடாமல் பாண்டிச்சேரி மட்டும் போக சொன்னால் எப்படி போகும், சடி செல்லும் தானே விழுவோம். ஸோ ஹீமோக்ளோபின், தைராய்டு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கா, தைராய்டிசம் கேன் காஸ் sluggishness, loss of memory, and that can create conflict. Vitamin B12, D3 immunity. So I ask them to give me a complete electrolytes எல்லாத்தையுமே ஒன்று பார்த்துருவேன் நான். But I don't, because I'm not a medical doctor. After the report comes in, I ask them to consult with their GP and then come back to me with whatever recommendations. And then 1 or 2 sessions, I listen to them. So establishing rapport, building confidentiality, giving them the space to talk what there. As she said, he did that, he didn't do that, she said that, எல்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க. அதில் am I sensing any anxiety, any obsessiveness இருக்கா, possessiveness இருக்கா, insecurity இருக்கா, இல்லை am I seeing signs of depression? அந்த மாதிரி எனக்கு ஒரு டவுட் வந்ததுன்னா அதை கிளினிக்கலாக அசஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஐ கிவ் தெம் த அசஸ்மெண்ட். ஸோ கிளினிக்கலி அசஸ் தெம் அண்ட் இட் ஒர்க்ஸ் வெல் வித் கரண்ட் population who are well educated. When they see things in black and white, the report, they are willing to accept, oh, எனக்கு clinical anxiety இருக்கா. So then I need to work individually on alleviating their stress, depression or anxiety based on the result, whether they need pharmacological intervention supported by therapy, or it is only in the mild and medium stage, which can be worked with just therapy alone. So that is the framework I follow.
Okay.
The marriage and family therapy treatment modalities have given a proper sequence of how I take it forward from there. So முதல்ல வந்து people need to understand that therapy is not a place where சும்மா வந்துட்டு சண்டை போடுறது. It is an agent or a place for safe change making. Right? So when you're trying to create that change, எடுத்த உடனே if you start talking about things which make us feel threatened, and it's just going to be an escalation session after session. நான் வந்து நிறைய பேர் when they take that approach and just எடுத்த உடனே start talking about their problems, எடுத்த உடனே start saying he said, accusing and things like that, 4-5 sessions வந்து அப்படியே போகும். So அதுக்கு பதிலாக there are a lot of research backed ways where முதல்ல how can we create a framework for safety. So அந்த Gottman Horseman பற்றி சொல்லியிருக்கேன், teaching them the antidotes, teaching them how to regulate their nervous system. So if I do it for myself, அதுக்கு பேர் வந்து self regulation. So one thing which the research has shown, which is just has blown my mind, partners are have you ever noticed that when somebody says any comment வந்து சரி அது பாட்டுக்கு they've told something. ஆனால் when your partner says something குட்டியாக இருக்கலாம் இல்லைன்னா they'll raise their eyebrow or something, it riles you up like nobody else. Only our partner can make us feel that way. So the reason behind that is because your nervous systems are connected in a way that is so unique that no other relationship, only attachment relationships, அதாவது our caregivers, our romantic partners and our children. These are the three mirrors or attachment relationships where our nervous systems are connected. When the science behind it's called psychobiological approach to couples therapy, PACT. That approach helps you understand that the same way that your partner can rile you up like nobody else, they can also calm you down like nobody else. So in the beginning stages in the madri these kind of tidbits we start teaching them, okay, these are the ways in which you can start communicating. And the stonewalling patti sollirkenla, so what is the antidote to that? It's called timeouts. நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து எனக்கு ஸ்பேஸ் வேணும், ஷீஸ் நாட் லீவிங் மீ அலோன், ஹீ கீப்ஸ் ஆன் காலிங் அண்ட் இரிட்டேட்டிங் மீ, வந்து ஸ்பேஸ் வேணும். ஆனால் ஹவு டு யூ டேக் ஸ்பேஸ், ஹவு டு யூ கிரியேட் ஸ்பேஸ் வேர் யூ ஆர் மூவிங் அவே, நாட் ஜஸ்ட் டு இக்னோர் த பர்சன் ஆர் ட்ரிங்க் வித் யுவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், பட் டேக்கிங் ஸ்பேஸ் டு ரெகுலேட் யுவர் செல்ஃப். Think what is the thing I really want to say, what is missing, what was my need that I don't know how to communicate. Same way avanga enna what side are they coming from. Then when you come back and you start learning how to slow it down, adha rendavathu stage la the safety and regulation and skills learn பண்ணிட்டுக்கு அப்புறம் you start going over what the patterns are in the relationship. Our role as a therapist is to start tracking these patterns. ஒரு பேட்டர்ன் வந்து இட் கேன் ட்ரான்சென்ட் த டாபிக். இனி இந்த வாரம் பற்றி வி ஃபாட் அபவுட் டிஷ் வாஷர், நெக்ஸ்ட் வீக் வி ஃபாட் அபவுட் த கிட்ஸ், தேர்ட் வீக் வி ஃபாட் அபவுட் த ஸ்கூல், ரைட்? பட் மூவிங் அவே ஃப்ரம் தட் டாபிக் வாட் தேர் ஃபைட்டிங், எப்படி ஆர் தே கம்யூனிகேட்டிங் அண்ட் ஃபைட்டிங் அண்ட் டாக்கிங் வந்து வி ஸ்டார்ட் ட்ராக்கிங் இட். நிறைய வாட்டி யூ ஸ்டார்ட் ரியலைசிங் பிகாஸ் பார்ட்னர்ஸ் ஆர் ப்ராக்சிஸ் ஃபார் எவ்ரிபடி எல்ஸ், ரைட்? அந்த கேப்பில் is there a need to do any trauma work? அதாவது ப்ரீவியஸ் அட்டாச்மெண்ட் ஃபிகர்ஸில் ஏதாவது சண்டை ஆர் மெமரிஸ், ஹர்ட், கஷ்டம், they form wounds for us, right? And easily வந்து something my partner did something, it reminded me of what my dad did, consciously or unconsciously I will get triggered and I'll see my partner as a threat. So we have a lot of different, for those who are nerds like me, நம்மளோட viewers வந்து whoever are nerds like me வந்து we use treatment methods, psychobiological approach to couples therapy, emotion focused couples therapy, intimacy from the inside out, IFIO. We have a lot of different ways in which techniques. Then we can the last step is to move it into சரி அந்த பழைய அட்டாச்மெண்ட் wounds வந்து from your previous trauma history, childhood history, that's called child work. We can then shift into what is happening here in the skill sets, in the safety, in the enough practice, right, of tracking what patterns are, what are the past wounds, how can I become aware of it. Apro the last stage that we usually go through with the deep interventions are what are this relationship's current attachment wounds that have happened. Adu vande how can we start repairing those. Then the couple is ready to build skills or to graduate from therapy.
Super. So much of work going beyond. It's not just talking. No, it's definitely not. So there are a lot of frameworks and interventions and skill sets taught. So just don't think that you go and fight in front of the therapist and come and nothing is going to get resolved. Depends on when you go, who you go to, they're qualified to treat you. So many things are there. So there is definitely hope, and there is a lot of you're using all the latest skill sets and research and incorporating that in your practice. And now when you were talking about that your partner being your mirror, then I know how the House of Mirrors name came about also. I was just realizing that. That's fascinating.
To couples counseling, another thing that I focus on, I told you about the love and trust being the foundation, right? That is held by 4 pillars. That is family of origin. What type of relationship my parents had with each other, how was I raised, so my personality, my attitude, my values, my belief system ellame angendu vandirukku. அப்போது அதை நான் வந்து இந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்குள்ளே கொண்டு வரும்போது அது ஃபங்க்ஷனலாக இருந்ததுன்னா பிரச்சனை இல்லை. அது டிஸ்ஃபங்க்ஷனலாவோ இல்லை டிஸ்அசோசியேட்டடாவோ இருந்ததுன்னா, if I get married to a person who is coming from a functional family, just imagine what type of conflicts it will create. So we, in our practice, we go through that aspect of family of origin. What is it this person is bringing? Bouquet or brickbats. அதை ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு அதை அன்டூ பண்ணுறது, அன்லேர்ன் பண்ணுறது. பிகாஸ் பிஹேவியரல் தெரப்பியில் ஒன் ஆஃப் த இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கம்பனண்ட் இஸ் all behaviors are learned.
Okay.
And so it can be unlearned.
Okay.
Okay. And then the financial pillar is another important thing. How this girl or the boy learned how to save, how to spend. So, and the discrepancy also can create shake the very foundation of love and trust. Social interactions. You know, how do you want to celebrate your birthdays, your anniversary? Do you want to go to an old age home and feed and idhuva, or have a candlelight dinner?
Yeah.
You know, and the variation can also shake the very. And the last pillar I told you was the emotional pillar. So I kind of go through each one of those.
So it's family and then financial and social interactions. Emotional. Okay. That's very nice. So relationships in the easier solidrom. பட் அதுக்குள்ளே உள்ளே போகும்போது டீப் டைவ் பண்ணும்போது தெர் ஆர் ஸோ மெனி திங்ஸ் விச் ஐ ஹாவ் லேர்ன்ட் இன் டுடேஸ் டிஸ்கஷன் சொல்லிட்டு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ ஐ ஷுட் தேங்க் யூ போத் ஃபார் தட்.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
And I know it's a last sad question to do with the question part before we move on to the rapid fire. But two people have done all the work. They have tried their best, put in their best. And still it's not always they come out on the other side together. And sometimes things do not work. So when do they sort of realize that maybe it's not working despite all the work we put in and it is time to leave the relationship?
When the individual, when one person feels that I have done everything possible, I have made the changes, I have understood where he or she is coming from and tolerated, but still I don't see the effort or the reciprocity of changes for improvement, what's the point in holding on to this? That is when this individual decides. It can be a man or a woman.
So, on that note, let us move on to the rapid fire. Love at first sight. Do you believe in it? Yes or no? Yes? Wow. No. And we have, even in the first question, a division of opinion. May I know why? Chemistry. Okay.
My answer is that's infatuation.
Okay.
Love takes work. It's the work element that makes it love.
So infatuation, okay, but not long-lasting love. Okay. Second would be monogamy. Is it natural or is it not? As a trend of human evolution, do you say?
It's not.
It's not.
It has become conditioned to be natural.
Society wants you to be monogamous,
Yes.
but
But biologically we
okay.
are not.
Biologically we are not, and men more than women, I guess. I don't know, maybe in the before it was different, but at least nowadays, as you said, it's also gender specific, and men more than women find it difficult. First date options: coffee or dinner? Coffee. Okay. So there's agreement on that. Can exes be friends? Yes or no? Maybe. Yeah.
But you need clarity of boundaries. Both people needed to have grieved and understood the new relationship in order to be friends.
I say no because I've had several couples who get into a newer relationship and they want to sever the partner to severe connections with the ex, although they remain friends.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know whether it is insecurity, possessiveness, or protectiveness. There is a difference, or envy or jealousy, I don't know. So I feel that
It's difficult. It's complicated.
it is complicated.
Okay. Biggest turn on in a partner in one word?
Safety.
Safety.
Eye contact with understanding.
Okay. Biggest turn off in one word?
Disrespect.
Bullying.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Calling any day. Your voice regulates more than your thumbs.
Yeah, definitely. I would say there are so many things, nuances which are lost in texting. You don't know they're angry, they're sad, they're happy, nothing. And it nowadays it's not even texting. It is all these strange acronyms which I have to again go and look up online to say what does that mean.
இன்னொன்று ஆட்டோ கரெக்ட் வேற நம்ம சொல்ற அர்த்தத்தையே மாத்திடுவா.
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி மேம். நான் ஒருத்தருக்கு வந்து அவர் பேர் பாபு மெசேஜ் அனுப்புகிறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. நான் வந்துட்டு தேங்க்யூ பாபு அப்படின்னு அனுப்புகிறேன். அது வந்து தேங்க்யூ பேபி it is auto correcting it. Just imagine how it will look if that message had reached that man, you know. You have to be very careful when you use the texting also. So yes, beware, I should say. Emotional cheating, is it worse than physical? Which do you feel, or do you feel they are equal? What are your thoughts on it? Both are equally bad. You agree?
I think that it depends on நம்மளோட attachment wounds and gender specific நிறைய இருக்கு. நிறைய பேர் வந்து women tend to find emotional cheating much worse and men tend to find the
Physical cheating, is it? Okay. Sharing passwords, is it a good idea? No.
I need my space, my privacy. No individual or here.
Yes.
if it's about openness with willingness to have safe boundaries and not about control and possessiveness that is shown as care. So நிறைய clauses இருக்கு. Then maybe
அதுக்கெல்லாம் முதல்லயே வேணான்னு சொல்லிட்டு பெட்டர்.
ஆக்சுவலி எங்கள் வீட்டில் இப்போ என்ன நாங்கள் வச்சுருக்கோன்னா, ஐ செட் my phone is always எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியட்டும் பின்கோடுன்னு எல்லாமே ஓப்பன் பிகாஸ் my children keep using it for various things when they were young and that continued. And இப்போ அவங்க ஃபோன்ஸும் we know their passwords. It's not as if, as you said, it's not controlling. I'm not going to go pick it up and look at what has been sent, but it is just there. You want to look at it, you look at it. Most often you're not going to take it and look at it for any reason or control it. And right now it is like that. We don't know.
See, the way I grew up, it was no secrecy in the family ingra mari irundhathu. So when we got married, we discussed about it and we said we need to maintain our privacy and we need that space.
Boundaries. Okay.
So it's very clear.
Yeah. Jealousy, is it healthy or toxic?
neither. It is just a messenger. How we handle that, our behaviors become either
Healthy or toxic. Okay.
The way I see jealousy is it's toxic, unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
You can be envious. Envious is benign.
Okay.
Jealousy is malignant.
Okay. That's a very nice way of looking at it. So, soulmates. We are all searching for our soulmates. Not me. I've already found mine. But generally, if people are searching for soulmates, is it real, do you think? Or is it a fantasy we have created in our heads?
It can be real, but relationships are not destined. They are built. It takes work to build a soulmate-like relationship.
ஸோ யாரோ எங்கேயோ நம்மளுக்காக பிறந்திருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு இந்த படத்தில் காமிக்கிற மாதிரி நோ யூஸ் டு கீப் ஆன் சர்ச்சிங் ஃபார் ஒன். வென் யூ ஃபைண்ட் சம்மன் யூ லைக், யூ பில்ட் ஆன் தட் அண்ட் தென் மேக் தெம் யுவர் சோல்மேட் இஸ் மோர் ப்ராக்டிக்கல்.
இப்போ அப்படி இல்லையே டாக்டர் பிரியா. இப்போ வந்து செக்லிஸ்ட் தான் நம்ம வச்சிருக்கோம். 6 foot tall, broad shoulders, 5 figure salary, 4 BHK,
அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருக்கு. ஸோ ப்ராக்டிக்கலாகவும் பார்க்குறாங்க. Financial secrets in a marriage, is it a deal breaker?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, I think so. And it can like foundation வந்து definitely it's built on shaky foundations, can collapse any time and pillars. Yeah. Would you advise a dating app? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. No. Why did I see that coming? Yes.
I feel it's too draining for the individual person and also it's like இன்னும் பெட்டரா கிடைச்சிருக்கலாமோ அப்படிதான் தோணும். இந்த செக்லிஸ்ட்ல இவன் 5 ஃபில் ஆனா இவன் வேண்டாம், அவன் 6 ஃபில் ஆனா அவன் வேண்டாம்.
Why?
நான் எதுக்காக எஸ் சொன்னேன்னா, just like anything வந்து we need to learn how to use it. Social media வந்து you can use it for bad and good, right? So அதே மாதிரி dating apps வந்து how can we use it with nervous system regulation, with awareness, with breaks. அப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணானா yes.
It is okay, but most people will not do that. Will be a sad reality. Prenuptial arrangements in today's modern marriages, do you think it is romantic or do you think it is practical or impractical, unromantic?
I think it's practical, but love can exist with planning.
I agree with her.
Yeah, because especially in the Western countries, I think it would be very much necessary, because otherwise they get to take away 50% and more of what you have, and sometimes that can lead to a lot of
Weaponized.
problems. Yeah. The number one reason couples break up, what do you think that would be over so many thousands of couples you would have seen?
ஏய் நம்ம இந்தியன் கல்ச்சர்ல நீ காலத்துல சூடா காஃபி கொடுக்கலன்னா கூட நான் கோச்சுவேன்ப்பா.
Gochipinga, but why do they break up?
Consistent happening of not giving hot coffee can result in divorce.
Really? Okay.
No, infidelity for men, emotional cheating for women.
Emotional unmet needs and lack of repair when conflicts happen.
நீ தெரபிஸ்ட் மாதிரி பேசுற.
Therapist தான்.
I am a therapist. அப்படிதான் பேசுவேன் அப்படின்னு correct. Okay. So that was a good rapid fire. Thank you both. And now let us move on to another section. I came up because nowadays on social media we see these terms being put out a lot. Red flags, green flags in any relationship. So many reels I have seen this. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் எனக்கே வந்துட்டு இந்த ரெட் ஃப்ளாக் அண்ட் க்ரீன் ஃப்ளாக்னா என்னன்னு சொல்லிட்டுன்னு I even came across something like a pink flag which is slightly red, but ஆனால் இப்படியே விட்டிங்கன்னா வந்து அது நிஜமாவே ரெட்டாக மாறுறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஆர் நியூட்ரல், இப்படியும் இல்லை அப்படியும் இல்லை பரவாயில்ல அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரின்ட்டுன்னு. ஸோ ஐ தாட் வீல் ஹாவ் இட் குட் பி எய்தர் இன் த மேன் ஆர் இன் த உமன். So I thought we could have a section of what flag you would call these particular behaviors as therapists, couples therapists. Cancelling dates last minute repeatedly. Red flag.
It points to unreliability.
Always keeping the relationship secret from friends and family, being very careful, no one should know about it. Oh my God. Red flag, yeah. Because too much of secrecy.
Yeah, which can often signal either mistrust, shame, and it can also indicate elements of manipulation.
பட் நம்ம ஊரில் சம்டைம்ஸ் பயமாக இருக்கலாம்ல, ஃபேமிலிக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருமோ அப்படின்ட்டுன்னு அந்த மாதிரியும் இருக்கே. That's the shame, is it?
Fear and the shame element.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that we should tell everything outside. Secrecy and privacy ko vidyasam irukku, and are we willing to work past the fear that we are sitting in?
Okay.
For some short period of time it's okay. ஆனா அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து நிறைய பேர் வந்து you know how my family is, you know how this is வந்து நிறைய பேர் they put other people in uncertainty.
Okay.
And that leads to threat.
True. For short term it may be okay, but if it keeps on continuing beyond a certain point, then it's going to stall, and I don't know whether it's going to move forward. True. Saying I'm not ready for a relationship, but wanting all the perks which come with a relationship. I also want to say, definitely yes, it is like too much. Yes. Okay, just move on. Talking badly about all their exes. Again a red flag. Okay. Not a pink one. I don't have a pink, but you can say pink if you want to.
Yeah, I might say pink simply because if people have typically attachment patterns resurface, so we end up choosing partners unknowingly who we're trying to fix that with.
Okay.
We pick somebody and end up struggling through similar patterns, sometimes abuse, sometimes some toxicity that happens. Are we aware to say that I also contributed to that? What is our accountability factor there? So if somebody keeps on only blaming the other person, வந்து self accountability இருக்கா இல்லையா?
Irukka illaya, correct. Because rarely do problems arise from one side, it's always both sides, right? Never apologizing or admitting fault. Ma'am has said, yeah. Yes, red flag, definite red flag.
நான் வந்து angry face நாலக்கா.
Okay, yes.
Orange, but what I meant is angry face. I don't like it.
Sharing passwords willingly. Ma'am said she has her boundaries, but otherwise,
Willingly immediately says there's mutual agreement and consent. Therefore,
yeah, so
yes.
then it's okay. Needing constant texting on updates all day. Maybe
Pink flag.
Pink flag.
This is also an agreement. People need to figure out, நிறைய பேர் வந்து they are in happy mutual relationships because they like to spend time, talk to their partner, they have mutual friends, they might be colleagues. So what is the agreement, what are your needs வந்து, how clearly can you state it, and if somebody else cannot meet that வந்து, how are you talking through it?
Okay. So again, so it depends on how the other person is also taking it. As long as you're not too controlling, trying to see எங்க இருக்கீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க or the other way around again, who are you talking with? Yeah, it's a slippery slope. It can be too controlling at times, but it depends on your relationship and both your agreement with that particular behavior.
To me, it's a red belly because it's like they play different roles in their life. When I'm at work, I'm busy with the meetings or seeing clients, or at that time, வந்து நீ சாப்பிட்டியா நீ வந்து எங்க இருக்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டானாக்கா I don't like to respond. So, are we utilizing our cognition to understand and comprehend what my partner, when
Maybe
my partner would be ready to respond to me?
Yeah, and not getting angry if they don't do it immediately.
Yes.
Wanting separate finances in marriage. Could be
Mutual agreement, it's totally
Neutral.
okay, it's neutral. So if somebody wants that and there's transparency and mutual agreement, then it's fine.
then it's okay. But then it should be like a mutual agreement, and it should also be like one person is not always funding the other or vice versa, and taking from one side and making sure you're not giving any of it and doing your own thing with what you want. So again, if they have that agreement, then that should be fine.
Otherwise, it violates trust again.
Trust again. Yeah, financial pillar. Going to therapy individually or as couples. Big green flag, of course.
I might be biased, but
Yeah, no, of course. And I think that's natural because they are willing to work towards whatever differences are there. That shows that they have an interest. அவங்களுக்கு அந்த relationship work ஆகணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு நினைக்கிறாங்க. That's why they are putting in that effort even அப்படின்ட்டு. Being best friends with an ex. No, according to you. So that's difficult.
you know
Yes.
my answer. It's really dependent.
Dependent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, we don't have the skill sets currently built into our culture, built into any models that we've seen.
Flirting openly with others. Maybe.
I would say only if there is a pre-agreed upon mutual agreement. I think that's my answer for so many of these, because what's the communication that has happened? There are polyamorous relationships too, right? Not just monogamous. So how are people engaging with that? For the most part, if you're in a monogamous relationship, it is an act of betrayal and disrespect.
So, and that flirtation is also of different levels and kinds, and you need to know that before, mindful of that. Saying that's just how I am. நான் அப்படிதான் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஏதாவது they do something hurtful and then just give that saying, this is just my character, you have to accept it. Red flag. Angry flag, okay. Being highly jealous or possessive. Highly being the word, because some amount of jealousy, and jealousy, possessiveness is natural when you're in a couple relationship.
There's a difference between possessiveness and protectiveness. Protectiveness is I care about you and I want you to be safe. Possessiveness is you are mine and it is my right and might to protect you.
Okay.
So I find a lot of difference between possessiveness and
One is okay, protectiveness is okay, but when possessiveness, it's too much, you say.
jealousy and insecurity crops in.
Angry flag again. Okay. Check your phone or social media.
If you're wanting to check it, it's usually a red flag, because it's concern that's disguised, it's control that's disguised as
Concern, is it? Okay. Refusing to talk about the future.
Big red flag. Okay.
So they don't know what they want, or they see this going forward.
Goal directed, growth directed, illana kashtamayidumpa.
Okay. Being dismissive of your feelings, saying, no, you're
Red flag.
red flag. Okay. So thank you. So that's I wanted to know all these red flags and green flags from the perspective of a couple of therapists who have come here. Thank you very much. So last section we go on to is, I know I may be gender accused of gender stereotyping here, but I strongly believe men and women are fundamentally different in a lot of ways. Certain வந்து இப்போ மாறுதல் இருக்கலாம், but for the majority is what I'm talking about. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Yes, absolutely true. How we deal with things, what priorities we set, எல்லாமே நம்ம கொஞ்சம் டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக தான் இருக்கும். And that we have to agree, I think. So what do you see these traits, specific traits I'm going to name as coming from men, as specific to women, or it's like almost for both? அப்படின்ட்டு. So staying strong and hiding their feelings.
Men.
Wanting constant attention and updates from the other partner.
Both.
Both. Hurt very easily.
Both.
I would say women. They show it more, and oftentimes women have more anxious attachment. So it shows up as neediness. It shows up as, please come talk to me. Let's work this out right now. I don't feel safe giving you space.
Very possessive and territorial.
Men. I would say both, but
Both.
more statistically, I would say men in terms of what's shown on the outside. Anna, what's shown on the inside, privately, in that couple bubble, na, women. So both. Just shows up different.
Women, big time, especially current trend.
Okay. Says or things when they go into a relationship, I can change them.
Women, alcoholics, substance abuse, smoking up, gambling, எல்லாமே மற்றபடி அவர் நல்லவர் தான்
ஆமா,
அப்படின்னு
exactly.
சொல்லிட்டு they will say
Oh my
I
God.
can change.
Okay. But they don't. That is the sad truth. And as I always say, people change only because they want to, not because anyone else wants them to. Posting everything about their relationship online.
Women.
Yeah, there's a lot more external validation that can come for women in comparison, and so it becomes a cycle of enjoying what that looks like, especially if you're not getting it within your relationship.
So I look at it as instant gratification,
Yeah.
not looking at the long-term consequences.
Yeah.
Close to mother. Everyone's close to their mother, but sometimes unduly close to mother, and that influencing the relationship is what I mean. Both. Wants to split bills exactly.
Men, especially if the woman is working.
Okay.
Same answer.
Okay.
Hey, என்னை பார்த்து காப்பி அடிக்கிற.
Your answers are so good. What to do?
Career oriented and does not prioritize time for partner.
In our society, men, but today as women are entering the workforce and recognizing they have so many roles and responsibilities, and they like that adyalam that comes from what is my identity in the workplace. So
Both. Does not want to have kids.
Women.
Women?
women.
Because they have to do all the hard work. I was telling someone, even the other day during a delivery, the husband was there and I was like, see, just because of you I have come to this position. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டுன்னு இனிமேல ஏதாவது இன்னொரு பேபி வேணும் கிட்ட கூட வரக்கூடாது அப்படின்ட்டுன்னு I was thinking funly we could have done it 50-50 here also. பாதி குழந்தைங்க நீங்கள் பெற்றுக்கோங்க, பாதி குழந்தைங்க நான் பெற்றுக்கோங்கன்னு, then we would have more. But at the same time, I think if men had the responsibility biologically of childbearing, I think our human race will become extinct very soon. அப்படின்ட்டு.
அந்த மூவி ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? Arnold Schwarzenegger, he gets pregnant.
Yeah. There was a movie that... No, I don't think they would go through it at all. Averse to commitment.
The trend now is starting to be both, but historically men.
Now times are changing. Both do not want commitments. Shares all details with their close friends.
Women.
Women.
Men.
Men?
We think women gossip and men don't. Believe me, they do more gossips than women.
Okay.
The topics are different. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. It's
topics.
both. What men talk about and what women talk about their relationship are two different.
Different things, but they both talk. The aspects may change.
Even go to the extent of talking about intimate times with
Yes.
their loved ones also.
Yeah.
With their
Yeah, mostly.
friends.
Say sorry first.
இப்போல்லாம் நான் மென்னு தான் சொல்றான் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பை சஸ்டெயின் பண்ணணும்னு அதுதான் நான் பார்த்துட்டு
பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கீங்க. Okay. Both. So relationships in our times used to be much more simpler, I should say. There were so many types in எனக்கு தெரியாது. The modern day relationship terms are seriously mind-boggling at times. So just to ask you, and what do they mean in one line? Monogamy,
Commitment to one person exclusively, both romantically and sexually.
serial monogamy.
Repeatedly engaging in monogamous relationships, one after the other.
பட் ஒன்று முடிஞ்சோடனே அடுத்தது நாட் எக்ஸாக்ட்லி அட் த சேம் டைம். பாலிஅமோரி,
Being in multiple consensual romantic relationships. This can take either a casual form or a serious form
at the same time.
at the same time.
Okay, on both sides. Okay.
It doesn't have to be on
Both sides, one or both.
One could be monogamous and the other one could be in a polyamorous.
but they need to consent for that. The agreement should be
Yeah, they are open about it.
Yes.
Situationship. This was something which I heard from my daughter. Two of her friends were going out. I said, what happened to them? She said, it's sort of complicated. They are in a situationship, and that's when I had to go online and Google what a situationship now is.
It is more than friendship, less than a committed relationship.
So keeping it casual and open, not committed, is what
They're
you
not
say.
fully considering.
தலையில் அடிச்சுக்கிறது கூட இருக்க வேணாம். ஓகே வேணாம். ஓகே. Friends with benefits, there was a movie made on it.
yes.
It's a relationship that includes sexual closeness but not relational and commitment between two
So you're in it for the sex and
So
not
all
for
the
much else.
boundaries that a friendship has, and the one boundary that is extended would be sexual.
But not long-term commitment, all this romance, love, all that doesn't enter into it exactly.
These days the இதில் அந்த நீட்ல வந்து food, clothing, shelter and the sexual needs have also come as a part of the regular need that can be received from anywhere. Whereas in our Indian culture, marriage was constituted as a license to have sex.
Yeah.
அந்த கான்செப்ட் இப்ப மாறினதுனால இதெல்லாம் வருது.
வருது. Open relationship.
Consists of a committed couple who are agreeing for one or both partners to see somebody outside that couple bubble, either emotionally and or physically sexually.
But after consenting, both of them are
It's
in
a mutual
mutual agreement. Platonic life partners.
Deep, committed, non-sexual relationship where two people have decided to join their lives together. So they might have shared goals, shared vision for the future, with a non-sexual component.
Yeah, and we do see these couples coming to us for children. I have sent them for psychological assessment to be sure that the both of them are on the same page. And if they are, and that is their decision, then we do offer IUIs for having children in their families and making their families. DADT, don't ask, don't tell.
That used to be the US Army lab terms.
Okay.
Now it has come into
This also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a type of lingo which people are using now, which basically signifies I will engage in sexual relationships with people outside of just us, but I don't want either of us to openly discuss or talk about that.
Yeah.
See, 20 years ago in defense, they brought this don't ask, don't tell policy, especially when they found out that they had a homosexuality and lesbianism among the army men, you know. So the don't ask, don't tell policy they introduced. அது வந்து அப்படியே it has taken a different.
So we can do whatever we want, but basically don't ask and don't tell and do whatever you want. Like couple, it's throuple.
Thruples are committed relationships where three people are involved and they are forming an equilateral triangle. It's the same principles of when two people are there. It is a committed relationship for all three.
Wow. And do you see couples like that? thruples like that.
Couples like that.
Yeah.
Not so much in Chennai. I think when we start receiving our couples from Mumbai, Delhi, India, and abroad also, yes.
I have seen a couple 15 years ago in Chennai.
Okay. You are always ahead of your times.
Absolutely.
Catfishing.
Pretending to be somebody else online, whether it's a physical features like fake photo or descriptions about their life, with the intention of enticing somebody into a relationship on false pretenses.
Wow, scary.
Scary. And Ashok என்ன தெரியுமா சொல்வாங்க ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு ஃபனி நோட்டுக்கு he says வந்து nowadays எனக்கு டிபி பார்த்துட்டு நேரில் பார்த்தா அது யாருன்னே தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது or sometimes there's so much of makeup when you go for the wedding or reception இந்த பொண்ணு தானா அதுன்னு both of us went to a wedding the other day. And then I walked out, I went and looked at the பேர் என்ன பொண்ணோட பேர் பையனோட பேர் அவி இந்த ரைட்டுன்னு ஏன்னா I couldn't recognize the girl. அந்த பொண்ணு தான் கல்யாணமாதா இல்லையான்னு. ஸோ நவ் மேக்கப் இப்போ வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் ஆன் அ ஃபனி நோட் இது நம்பளா இல்லையா இது நம்மளோட நிஜம் மூஞ்சி என்ன அப்படின்னே சம்டைம்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் டவுட் ஆக ஆரம்பிக்கும்.
ஃபனியாக எடுத்தானா பரவாயில்ல, சில பேர் வந்து they'll end the marriage based on this also.
Oh, okay. But I would definitely without makeup they should see the girl before getting married, I hope. Not only with makeup on all the time because that's not how it's going to be once they get married. Text relationship.
A connection that doesn't have to be a relationship or commitment yet, but a connection that is predominantly based on texting.
Texting. Sexting. Yeah. Yes, please do tell us what that is.
The texting adila subcategory, engaging in sexual intimacy and
Flirtations and exposing each other, talking dirty, all that.
All that
called
through text messages. Okay. Yes, something to add to here. Slide into your DMs.
So this is a newer concept which has come up. It is initiating romantic interest by moving from a public setting like social media or dating apps, moving into private texting with an interest to pursue.
Love bombing.
It is the concept of overwhelming somebody with attention, affection, not from a place of love or safety, but from a place of gaining control in the relationship very early on. It's not stage appropriate.
Because I even heard one interview where Ananya Pandey herself said, if my boyfriend is not picking up the phone, I will keep calling him 20 times, 30 times on repeat till he picks up the phone, which I found quite strange actually when I heard it.
Yeah.
But is that love bombing?
It can be.
It can be.
My lens will immediately say that's an anxious attachment that needs to be healed.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes in the relationship, I need the trophy. I need you. So what do I do to get you? Get you. So shower all the attention. So once I receive you, get you, put you on my showcase, and I'm done.
Done with it.
I think intention makes a difference for love bombing, because if I'm coming from a place of deep-seated fear and insecurity, like the example you shared, we may not fully classify that. But if my intention is to manipulate, to control, to gain you committing to me and providing me what I want from you, that intention changes it.
Breadcrumbing.
Leading somebody on with minimal intention, minimal affection.
Okay. Just leaving little breadcrumbs for you to follow.
Yeah.
And so that you are not put off completely. Benching. அதெல்லாம் முன்னாடி ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ்ல தான் இருந்தது, இப்போ இங்கேயும் வந்துருச்சு. Oh, okay.
Sports madri, it's keeping somebody on the bench, keeping somebody on hold, but there are some aspects, breadcrumbing madri, there's some aspects to the relationship which keeps them there. I'm keeping you on hold, but I have my options.
I'm just looking at other options, better options kadikidana. And last but not the least, this is very popular, I think, ghosting.
Cutting off all communication with absolutely no explanations. And it's often used when we don't know how to handle a situation. So it's either a lack of skill sets, but a lot of times it can exist even in abusive dynamics to punish.
Okay. So I think we have heard a lot of relationship terms, which I'm thankful I didn't have to know or I don't have to deal with professionally like you people do. Virtual sex.
Having the turning the camera on and going naked and indulging in sexual activities to turn the other person on. And this is where a lot of scams that men have been getting
Caught in. Okay. So everything goes online. So why not this too? No. Okay. So wow. We come to the end of our very highly interesting discussion. What a journey through the tangled world of modern love. I want to thank our amazing guests for bringing such wisdom, warmth, and honesty to this conversation. We have explored why love feels so hard in the 21st century, the real work that goes into relationships, and the power of understanding ourselves first and then our partners. Because at the end of the day, there's no one size fits all formula in life anywhere else. And it is so for love. Just two people willing to try, to talk, to listen, to forgive, and to grow. If you're out there struggling, questioning, or celebrating love in any form, remember you're not alone. Relationships aren't meant to be perfect, they are meant to be real. Thank you for listening to Femiliarise, and don't forget to follow us for more honest conversations about the things that matter most. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and as always, let's keep the conversation going.